This video is actually a continuation of the last video I released, but I ended up talking about different topics in this video like mental health, so bear with me.
Anyway, there's another movie that is coming out on Prime. Actually, I think it's out. I haven't watched it, and I won't probably, because I saw snippets of the trailer, but not the full thing, and from the snippets, I could tell that this is not a good idea. It looks just very... You'll see.
You are never more alive than when you're a teenager. Your brain is flush with chemicals that can turn your life into a story of epic proportions.
Shut the
Yeah, no, that's not even close to being true. In my personal opinion, I'm 21 going on 22, or more like going on 60. In my personal opinion, I feel that being in your 20s is when you're most alive, actually. It's not your teenage years. You're most hormonal. You're most dramatic, emo, horny. A lot of other things when you're a teenager, but you're not the most alive. I think you're the most alive in your 20s and 30s. I don't... But something tells me he's a writer character, because writer characters in movies, they're always so dramatic, which actually is realistic to life. From personal experience.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
Anyway.
By the start of my senior year, nothing interesting had ever happened to me.
Guys, if you saw my Twilight video, you already know what I said about high school. It doesn't have to be fascinating. It's high school. You're there to get an education, graduate, and move on with your life. You're not there to start a romance or fall in love with a vampire or even start a freaking musical.
Grace just transferred here from East River. I think you make a truly dynamic editor-in-chief duo.
I'll help with editing and design, just not writing.
Hey, why'd you give up writing?
I was asked to write something about someone really important to me, but I just couldn't find the words.
Yep, I hate this one too. First of all, why would you tell us her backstory in the trailer? Second of all, that's not a compelling backstory. That's not enough for someone to stop writing.
How dare you?
You know what? I'll take it back. I won't judge someone for why they stopped writing, for whatever traumatic reason that they find traumatic. However, as a writer myself, as I will continue to say like a pompous jerk.
Yeah, no shit, honey!
I'm gonna go on a tangent for a second. Stay with me. The reason why the movie Batman Begins is so good is because Bruce was afraid of bats. And the acrobatic people that were playing at the play with his parents looked like bats to him. It reminded him of the bats, basically. And so he wanted to leave the theater. And by leaving the theater out of fear, and then his parents getting killed in the alleyway, Bruce always blamed his own fear and himself for why they got killed. That's how you make backstory good. That's the best backstory. Another example is Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Because he chose to run away and not be the Avatar at such a young age, he went into the iceberg, and 100 years later, he finds out his people were slaughtered and the Fire Nation is trying to take over the world. He blames himself for that, and somewhat rightfully so. The best backstories are those that the character blames themselves because they were somehow connected to or even possibly actually responsible for the domino effect of what happened and the trauma, bad things, death, whatever. This is not that, and it's garbage.
I feel like I don't know anything about you.
I used to be good at socializing.
What changed?
9 months ago, car swerved coming around a bend and flipped. Come here.
I don't see how being in a car accident, all of a sudden you don't have any friends, like at all. Even myself, who didn't really want to be bothered and was kind of a loner or whatever, I still had friends. Some who I still talk to here and there. I don't like the idea that there are loners in high school because I don't think that's the norm. I think even people who think they're loners do have friends, even if they don't feel like those friends are good friends or deep friends. And I'm not saying stay in a bad friendship if you are in one in high school, but I don't think anybody's fully alone. There's always someone out there. And even if they're not in your life right now, they're still out there. You're not in the right alignment yet. I don't know. I sounded overly spiritual for a second. That was weird. Anyway, I don't know. This overly emo hipster, I'm not like other girls, I'm not like other boys.
Life is full of suffering and it's just horrible and Shakespeare and
We all die. You either kill yourself or get killed.
What you gonna do?
Stop it. Get over yourself. Life can be beautiful if you actually look for it.
The most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life is watermelon. Inside a watermelon.
Instead of being an emo goth golem.
That hope last night just kind of meant a tiny fraction to you as it meant to me. That was done.
Yes, it was.
Teenage years are limbo.
Is that your mom?
No. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The world tells you to express yourself, but the minute that you do, it tells you to shut up.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out.
The world tells you to express yourself, but the second you do, it tells you to shut up.
Honestly, I think what it was is the world was telling you to shut up the whole time. You just were bad at listening.
It's okay. No, it's not when you realize you can't fix me.
I do agree with that. I agree that you shouldn't be trying to fix people. I don't like in YA movies where like the guy or the girl or both are like trying to fix each other. You can't fix anybody. You can only fix yourself. And at the end of the day, no matter how much you do of fixing and managing, there will always be cracks. But that's okay. You learn to love yourself and someone learns to love who you are. But you have to love yourself first. You have to fix yourself first.
Love yourself. Accept yourself.
And then once you're at a place that you feel like you're healthy, stable, that's when it's best to be with someone else who hopefully also has fixed their garbage and their baggage and, you know, whatever. Why am I giving love advice?
The reason why, when every adult talks about young people, they can't avoid the truth.
Stop leading me on.
I'm confused, Henry. I don't know.
I know. I've known since like the very beginning.
That being young is so painful. It's almost too much to feel.
I don't agree with anything in this trailer. I really don't. Being young is hard. It is hard. And it is confusing. And that's why you shouldn't date. But I already made a video about that. So, I mean, it doesn't look like their lives are great, but at the same time, they are alive. They're breathing. And that's something to always be grateful for. I think that's something as a teenager you kind of forget to be grateful about. Like, you just take advantage of being alive, where some people did not wake up today. And I know that makes me sound like I'm devaluing their struggles, and I'm not. But at the same time, as a teenager, even myself, you know, I look back at myself and I'm just like, Liz, get over yourself, because it's not all about you. It's about other people. It's about people you care about. It's not about you feeling like the world's coming to an end, because it's not. The world might suck, but it's not coming to an end. You're here. You're right now. Do something with that. But anyway, I can't stand YA romance, and before I react to my last trailer, I wanted to let you guys know that I am writing YA romance.
How dare you?
Yeah, I know, hypocrite. I know, calm down. I'm writing a YA romance set in the 80s for Webtoons. It's going to be my second Webtoon story, and I'm very excited about it. It is called Eternal Dreams, and it is set in the 80s, and it involves these two characters, Bobby and Dawn, who are basically, they're not really rivals, but they just loathe each other at high school, and they discover that they are reincarnated lovers, an Egyptian queen and a European king. And from there, I would say a pretty awesome romance and some steaminess ensues. You're welcome. Check it out. Follow it on Instagram at Eternal Dreams 80.
When you're finished with the questions, please pass them forward. Calm down, son. Calm down.
And that's when we found out I have schizophrenia, a chronic mental disorder, allowing for visual and auditory hallucinations. Never normal. The end.
I love this already, not just because it has mental illness in it, but I feel that schizophrenia is one of the mental illnesses that aren't represented enough, or it's always just one version of it. I think all mental illnesses are not represented enough, but I think schizophrenia is one of them. I think OCD is another one. And I think this is already so compelling. This is what Chemical Hearts should take notes on. I know that the movie is already out in theaters and stuff.
But unfortunately, I can't go to the movie theaters because the state I live in is still shut down.
I feel like this is just very compelling, and I love the visual representation of mental illness. I think that's the great thing about movies, is that they can show you visually what it's like to be in your head and have a mental illness, which is just fabulous. And the fact that they're kind of taking advantage of it visually, I love it so much. I also feel bad for the mom, because I've been there with my own parents where it takes time, or it even just takes a second for people that care about you to understand that you have something that you can't see but has a very detrimental effect on your life and on you and on your sanity, you know, and wanting to eradicate it and cure it. Even though there is no cure for mental illness, you can manage it. And I don't know, I just connect with the story better. Maybe it is corny. You guys can always let me know. I take no offense if you find some of this corny, but so far I really love this idea.
I'm Maya.
I'm Adam.
I came over here to intimidate you, but something tells me you're harmless.
If you need anything, let me know.
For the first time in forever, I felt normal.
What's with the cookbooks?
I'm sort of studying to be a chef.
Sort of? Where are you? What? Don't look at me. Look at her. You have a problem with eye contact.
Do you always say exactly what comes into your mind?
Well, it's best to say exactly what you mean or nothing at all.
See, this is what you call quirky, ladies and gentlemen. I also love that they're not taking this too seriously.
What you gonna do?
And yet you have Chemical Hearts that doesn't even deal with mental illness, and they're taking it like the whole world is coming to an end. And it's just like...
The world tells you to express yourself, but the minute that you do, it tells you to shut up.
Shut the up.
I don't know what to say to that.
I'll crack you, Petroselli.
Last night, when you finally called me,
I know that you must be scared, and that it's lonely in your head.
And I know that you like
When you're a cancer kid, people are so eager to grant any wish you have. But when you have schizophrenia...
How dare you!
It's breaking my heart so much. Oh my god, I connect with this. You guys know by now, I have anxiety and depression. So I connect with any story that is willing to deal with mental illness, and this just hits me on so many levels, because, you know, it is lonely in your head, and it is basically, it can feel like a prison. And it sounds pretentious when he says that when someone has cancer, people care, but when you have a mental illness, people don't. But it's true. This isn't being pretentious like the other trailer. This is true. When you're sick, when you break your ankle, people see it, they care, they show empathy. You tell people that you have chemical imbalances in your head and you sound crazy, or you sound like you're making excuses to not do something, whatever. And that's not true. And there's always that concern that there are certain people in your life that won't get it, that won't love you, that won't accept you, whatever. I'm lucky enough to have friends who deal with mental illness themselves, or who just love me for all of my scars and madness and everything. I'm lucky to have parents who came around to understand what I have and treat it as such, which is something to not see as an excuse, but something that is damaging to my life when I don't manage it properly. It's important to have those people in your life when you deal with mental illness. And if you don't have someone like that, just know that my channel here is a refuge for people with mental illness, because I get it, and the stigmas will always be there. There's progress with the stigmas, but there's still a lot of stigmas with mental illness. And if this movie can shed a little light on that and also do a somewhat well-written YA romance, I would love that, because that's another thing. People who have mental illness, they believe that they can't fall in love, or they cannot be in a healthy relationship. And I just don't believe that's true. I can't believe that's true for my own sanity.
You see him, right?
Yeah, he's real.
Bro, I don't know why, but that is so cute and so funny. As much as I like mental illness represented properly, I also like when people can joke about the mental illness. And I've done that myself. Like, you have to make light of life. As dark as it is, as painful as it can be, you have to. That's how you stay sane enough. That's how you get through life. You have to make light of things. And to kind of make that as a joke is a good joke.
I'm always gonna see things and hear things that I shouldn't.
That's just traumatizing.
I can't put you
It's not fair.
What makes you think you get to make that decision on your own? You didn't give me a chance to stay.
What'd you have?
I love you.
Oh my god.
I don't like that they showed the I love you scene, but I think it's very sweet and endearing that, because a lot of times in these stupid YA romance, like, the person doesn't tell them, and then when they finally do tell them, the love interest is like, why didn't you tell me? And then they run away and all that garbage. But I love how she's just like, why didn't you give me a choice? Because I would have stayed. Don't push me away. I love that. We need more of those romances.
People discover all your dark places inside. Because those are the people that can show you what's real.
He's back!
When you can't see that for yourself.
Hey, I'm right here.
So sweet, so sweet. I love it. I don't know if I agree with chucking the medicine. Sometimes you need some medicine for your mental illness.
Right.
It's very sweet. I love it. I love the whole I'm right here. That's beautiful. We need more of this. We need mental illness romances. We need ones that show that you can struggle with your sanity and still be loved and still love. Because I have to believe that's true. I just